Good afternoon to all. So today we will discuss a small topic in coordination chemistry, that is theories of coordination chemistry. Last class we have seen isomerism in coordination compounds. Now let us see the theories of coordination chemistry. So before going into the theory VBT and CFT, let us see some basic definitions. That is, what is the definition of coordination compound? So to know this, we should know the difference between double salt and coordination compound. So double salt is example potash alum. You take here example potash alum. So what is double salt means? It is a combination of two or more salts, that is double salt. So it will lose its, what is the definition of double salt is, it will lose its identity when it is dissolved in water or when it is in solution. Like you see this potash alum, if you dissolve in water, it is going to give all the ions present in this. What are the ions present in this? Potassium present, sulfate present, aluminum also present. So all the ions it is going to give. And how can you say that all these ions we are going to get means? If you do the qualitative test for potassium, we are going to get positive. Even if you do the sulfate test, that also we are going to get positive. Similarly, aluminum also we are going to get positive. Now, what is the definition of coordination compound or complex compound or complex salt? It will retain its identity when it is dissolved in water. In water or in solution, it will retain its identity. What is the meaning of retention? So, you see this potassium ferrocyanide. When we dissolve in water, you see, I have written a square bracket. This square bracket actually called coordination sphere, and this outside the coordination sphere is called ionization sphere. Means when you dissolve in water, whatever ions are present outside the coordination sphere, that only will convert into ions. Inside the coordination sphere, that ions are not going to come into the solution. Like you see here, Fe+2 ion is there, Cn- is there. They are not going to produce in water. Means even after dissolving in water, it is not losing its identity. That means this square bracket is not disturbing. So this is nothing but coordination compound. If we do the qualitative test for the ions present in coordination compound, it won't give. It may or may not give. Like if you see potassium, it will give positive test for potassium in this compound. If you do the test for iron, it is not going to give. So this indicates that it is not losing its identity when it is dissolved in water. So that is coordination compound, and this is double salt. So now coordination compound, why we are studying separately means they have different properties, like they will show color, and the magnetic properties of these compounds is different from that of the respective metal ions. So and some of the coordination compounds we are using in various applications, like cancer treatment, cisplatin we are using in the cancer treatment. Like that, so many applications are there coordination compound. Now in this today's class, we will discuss what is the bonding. That means what is the bonding between metal ion ligand. Here you see in the coordination sphere, this iron is called central metal ion or central metal atom, and this whatever ion is surrounded by this central metal atom, this is called ligand. Ligand means the substance which is capable of donating a pair of electron to the central metal atom. It is capable of donating a pair of electron to the central metal atom. It may be negative ion, it may be neutral. So if it is neutral, it should have a lone pair of electron. Negative means anyway that will have negative charge, it will donate. So this is a difference between coordination compound and double salt. Now let us see VBT. So VBT, generally this theory explains the bonding in coordination compounds. Bonding in coordination compounds as well as hybridization of a complex salt, it is going to explain. So according to this theory, the bond present between central metal atom and ligand is coordinate covalent bond. So this theory assumes that the bond between central metal atom and ligand is coordination compound. And this theory explains the hybridization and structures of the complexes. And according to this theory, central metal atom or ion under the influence of ligand use its n-1d orbital, ns orbital, np orbital or ns, np, nd orbitals for hybridization to yield a set of equivalent hybridized orbitals and of definite geometry such as octahedral, tetrahedral, square planar, etc. So that means what happens here, first this central metal atom will use its own orbitals and form the hybridized orbital. These hybridized orbitals will overlap with the ligand orbitals. and these hybridized orbitals will have a specific geometry like square planar, octahedral, tetrahedral, etc. Okay. Now you may have doubt, that is what is n minus 1d, ns, np, what are nd orbitals. Let me give that information also. Here you see, let us take scandium only, let us take scandium only. So electronic configuration of scandium is argon 3d1 4s2. This is the electronic configuration of scandium. Its atomic number is 21. So here 4p orbital also there, but no electron in that. Even 4d orbital also there, no electron in that. Now you see, if I assume n is equal to 4, this 3 is called n minus 1. So n minus 1d means 3d orbital here in this particular example. Nd orbital means this 4d orbital. So this central metal atom scandium may use 3d 4s 4p orbitals or 4s 4p 4d orbitals. So this is n minus 1d n minus 1d ns np or ns np nd orbitals it can use. So this n minus 1d is nothing but penultimate shell. Nd orbital is nothing but that is ultimate shell in that, so that is actual that n value. So this is penultimate shell, ultimate shell here. So now, so it will use these orbitals for hybridization and give a specific geometry hybridized orbitals. These hybridized orbitals will overlap with the ligand orbitals. Now, when inner orbitals, inner d orbitals are using, if central metal atom is using inner d orbitals, then it is called inner orbital complex or low spin complex. Means when 3d orbital participate in the bond formation, that hybridized orbital formation, then it is inner orbital complex or low spin complex. This is for coordination number 6 compound. Similarly, if outer d orbital is used, then it is called high spin complex or outer orbital complex. So just now I told 3d orbital in the scandium is n minus 1d, 4d orbital is nd orbital. And also this theory totally depends on the magnetic data. Pauling proposed this. What he has done is just he collected the magnetic data, and to explain that magnetic data, he proposed this bonding. This is the magnetic dot. This is the magnetic moment for a particular complex, and this may be the bonding in this particular complex, and this is the hybridization. Like that, he explained. He totally dependent on the magnetic data. So this theory explained the magnetic properties of the complexes. So these are the few points about this VBT. Now let us see the different geometries possible with different hybridization. Like coordination number 4. So what is coordination number means? It is the number of bonds around the central metal atom, that is coordination number. So if coordination number 4, there are two different geometries possible. One is sp3, that is a tetrahedral shape, tetrahedral geometry, and dsp2. dsp2 is square planar. And similarly with coordination number 5, it will be trigonal bipyramidal, that is sp3d hybridization. And similarly with octahedral sp3d2 or d2sp3. So what is the meaning of this sp3d2? sp3d2, whenever we are writing, this d orbital is nd orbital, higher energy orbital. When we are writing d2sp3, this d orbital is lower energy orbital, means inner orbital, it is 3d. In this scandium case, if you see this sp3d2 4d orbital, if 3d orbital is used, that is d2sp3. So both the geometry is octahedral only, but sp3d2 now onwards wherever I will write, that is high spin complex or outer orbital complex. d2sp3 wherever I will write, that is low spin complex or inner orbital complex. Now let us see few examples. Here. Complexes, how the bonding takes place. Hexaamine cobalt plus 3 ion. How the bonding takes place here. First let us see cobalt plus 3 electronic configuration, that is argon 3d6 4s0. Because cobalt 0 is 3d7 4s2, cobalt plus 3 will be this one. So here this is the electronic configuration. This is the electronic configuration in the absence of ligand. Like this it will be there. In the absence of ligand. Here 4p orbital also there. And here one more important data I need to give, that is this theory assumes that Cn minus, CO and NO2 minus are strong ligands, and amine, water, halide ion, these are weak ligands. In the presence of strong ligands, pairing takes place. But one exception is there to this point also. In presence of cobalt and chromium, NH3 acts as strong ligand. NH3 acts as strong ligand. So here, this is the electronic configuration of cobalt in the absence of ligand. This is in absence of ligand. But in the presence of ligand, what happens is, first we need to see this ligand is strong or weak. Here ammonia. Ammonia generally weak ligand, but it will act as a strong field ligand in the presence of cobalt and chromium. So as it is strong field, it will influence the pairing here. Because of this strong field ligand, these electrons will pair up here. These two electrons, this electron will jump into this and this electron will jump into this. So because of this, pairing takes place now. Now the two d orbitals are vacant. This is 4s0, this is 4p0. Now two d orbitals, one s orbital, this is 3d6 only, 4s0, 4p0. So two d orbitals, two 3d orbitals, and one 4s orbital, and three 4p orbitals. So it is going to form d2sp3 hybridization. d2sp3 hybridization. You can ask how Pauling knows that this pairing takes place. He knows that magnetic moment for this complex is 0. So the only way to explain is this type of thing should, that means this pairing should happen. Then only we can say it is diamagnetic in nature. So this is diamagnetic in nature. d2sp3, it is low spin complex. Low spin complex it is. Why it is low spin? If you calculate the spin for this, if unpaired electron is there, spin will be more. If whenever pairing takes place, you see here plus of minus of cancel, plus of minus of cancel. So it will have low spin. If pairing is not happening, then it will have high spin. High spin means you see here plus of minus of cancel, this is plus of like that, more spin it will have if pairing is not happening. If pairing is happening, spin will be decreased. That's why it is called low spin complex or inner orbital complex. So this is one of the complex explanation. You see here in this slide, you see that whatever I explained I have written here. Orbitals of cobalt plus 3 ion, you see 3d6, that 4s0 and 4p0. This is actually 4p. Now d2sp3 hybridized orbital, how it will form here? Two d orbitals, one s orbital, three p orbitals will overlap with each other and form sp3d2, d2sp3 hybridized orbital. Now these hybridized orbital will overlap with the 6 ammonia molecules. Here ammonia will donate electron to this empty hybridized orbitals. So this is the bonding in this hybridization and geometry. Geometry is octahedral geometry, here it is. So this data already I explained. Now let us see in hexafluoro cobaltate, what is the hybridization involved, you see. Here you see this fluoride is weak field ligand. So still the electronic here oxidation state of cobalt is plus 3 because 6 fluoride ions minus 6 and plus 3. So overall it is minus 3. So cobalt plus 3 electronic configuration is still same 3d6 4s0. So in the absence of ligand, this is the electronic configuration that you have studied in atomic structure. In the presence of ligand also, pairing won't takes place here. Why pairing won't takes place? Because it is a weak field ligand. It won't influence the pairing. So that's why here d orbital is not there for bonding. You can ask why you are searching for d orbital. It is hexa-coordinated complex with six coordinated complex. With 6 coordinated complex, either d2sp3 or sp3d2 is possible. So that's why I am searching for that. Here what happens, you see one 4s orbital, 3 4p orbitals. So one 4p orbital. So this is 4s0, 4p, 4d orbital. Now one s orbital, 3p orbital, and 2 d orbitals will overlap with each other and form 6 sp3d2 hybridized orbitals. 6 sp3d2 hybridized orbitals. So this is, here you see 4d orbital is used in the bond formation, that is hybridized orbital formation. So that's why it is called high spin complex or outer orbital complex, you can say. Why it is high spin means, as I already explained. So now it is paramagnetic in nature. How we will calculate the magnetic moment? Magnetic moment is equal to under root over n into n plus 2 Bohr magnets. This is the unit, Bohr magnets, and n is number of unpaired electrons. So it is paramagnetic with 4 unpaired electrons. So nearly 4.87 4.90 Bohr magnets we are going to get magnetic moment. So that magnetic moment Pauling knows. So to explain that magnetic moment, this hybridization used. Okay. So this is the cobalt hexafluorocobaltate complex hybridization and geometry. Now similarly, let us see the tetrahedral complexes. 3 tetrahedral complexes, let us see. One is 3 tetrahedral complexes, we will see. Nickel tetrachloronickelate, tetrachloronickelate. Here nickel plus 2 electronic configuration is argon 3d8 4s0, argon 3d8 4s0. It is tetra coordinated complex. As we have already discussed, with tetra coordinated complex, two hybridized orbitals possible. One is sp3, another is dsp2. So here, as we know that this chlorine is weak field ligand. So in the absence of ligand, here you see this is the arrangement of the electrons. This is 4s 3d8, 4s0, 4p0. Now here you see this in the presence of ligand. Here chlorine is a weak field ligand. Chloride is a weak field ligand. It won't influence the pairing. It remains as same. Whatever that configuration is there in the free metal ion, same arrangement is there in the complex also. So now what happens here? One 4s orbital and 3 4p orbitals will overlap with each other and form sp3 hybridized orbital, and it is tetrahedral shape. sp3 hybridized orbital, tetrahedral. Tetrahedral means that is nickel chlorine will donate electrons like this. Tetrahedral complex it is. What is the, this is that diamagnetic or paramagnetic? In the examination that only they will ask. So it is diamagnetic with the magnetic moment 2.83 Bohr magnet, because 2 unpaired electrons are there here, you see. So here ligand will influence the pairing. So by this example, one thing you can understood, that is free metal ion and metal ion present in the complex may not have same magnetic moment. May have, may not have. Like here you see nickel plus 2 free metal ion, this metal ion in this complex also will have same magnetic moment, but every time we can't expect like that. Let us see one more example in that way. Tetracyanonickelate will take. So tetracyanonickelate also here nickel plus 2 oxidation state. So same thing will be in the absence of ligand. This type of, this is the electronic configuration. In the presence of ligand, now cyanide is a strong field ligand. Cyanide is strong field ligand. So now in the presence of strong field ligand, what happens is this pairing of electrons takes place here. Already 3 pairs are there. This electron also will promote into this. We are going to get 4 pairs now. Now this is 3d8, one 3d orbital, one 4s orbital, 2 4p orbitals. dsp2 hybridization. dsp2 hybridization. Magnetic moment is 0 here, you see. It is diamagnetic. This is tetracyanonickelate. It is diamagnetic because of ligand. So now here you see free metal ion and metal ion present in this tetracyanonickelate will not have same magnetic moment. So every time we can't expect that same it is. It depends on the ligand. So this is dsp2 hybridization means square plane or geometry, and magnetic moment is 0. So it is diamagnetic in nature. So this is one more example. Let us see another example of this tetra coordinated only, that is tetracarbonyl nickel. So here nickel is 0, carbonyl ligand, CO means carbonyl ligand, it is 0 oxidation state. So nickel 0, it will be 3d8 4s2 configuration, 3d8 4s2 configuration. So here 2 electrons are there in the s orbital, 4p orbital anyway it is 0. Now in the presence of ligand what happens is these 2 electrons also will come into this 3d orbital. So here now it will become 3d10. So these 2 electrons also will come into this orbital. Now here you see all the electrons are paired, there is no unpaired electron here. All the electrons are paired. Now in this particular case what happens is one 4s orbital, 3 4p orbital will overlap with each other and form sp3 hybridized orbital. And it is shape of this complex is tetrahedral. TD means tetrahedral. And the magnetic moment is 0. It is diamagnetic in nature. So because why pairing takes place? Because CO carbonyl ligand is strong ligand. Strong ligand. That's why pairing takes place. So now you can ask, this Pauling has explained all this hybridized orbital and all this only based on the magnetic data. He knows the magnetic data. For this complex he got the magnetic data 0. So that he explained like this. Now let us see the limitation. These all I have written here, you see whatever I have written on the board, that is this one. Limitations of valence bond theory, let us see. This theory does not give quantitative interpretation of magnetic data. Totally this theory depends on magnetic data. But how it is exactly, he has not given any explanation. Pauling has not given any explanation. Next, it does not explain the color exhibited by coordination compound. Why coordination compounds are exhibiting color? There is no explanation. And there is no explanation about weak and strong field. I told that these ligands are weak, these ligands are strong. But how these are weak and strong? Pauling has no answer. And this theory does not make exact prediction regarding tetrahedral and square planar complexes. For example, you see all platinum plus 2 tetra-coordinated complexes are square planar. It is important. All platinum plus 2 tetra-coordinated complexes are square planar. Not only platinum plus 2, even palladium plus 2, iridium plus 1 also with tetra-coordinated, 4 coordinated complexes. Whatever ligand you take, it is square planar. Why it is like that? He does not have any answer. And hybridizations involved in tetrahedral and octahedral, as I am saying repeatedly, this geometries is explained with the help of magnetic data. Without the knowledge of magnetic data, we can't explain what is happening there. So this is about valence bond theory. To overcome these limitations, several other theories are proposed. That is CFT, crystal field theory, is proposed to overcome this limitation. After crystal field theory, most superior theory. This year also they have asked that question, which is the most superior theory to explain the bonding and all the properties of coordination compound, that is molecular orbital theory. That is the most superior theory. Anyway, that is beyond your syllabus. Now let us see some questions, whatever we discussed now. Let us see some questions here, you see. Which one of the following is a square planar geometry? Just now I told all platinum plus 2 tetra-coordinated complexes are square planar. Here you see without any doubt we can answer this question D option, because platinum plus 2 tetra-coordinated complex is DsP2. Tetrachloronickelate just now we have seen. Similarly, tetrachloro iron, if we take these two, ABC or sp3 hybridization, this will be DsP2 hybridization. DsP2 means square planar geometry. So this I am not explaining, as we already know this answer. Now second question, you see, which one of the following complex is an outer orbital complex? What is outer orbital complex? If higher energy orbital is used, then it is outer orbital complex. Now let us see here they have given hexacyano manganate ion, hexacyano manganate ion. This is similarly this Fe hexacyanoferrate, this complex they have given. First let me explain these two. And hexaamine cobalt, this already I explained in the starting of this theory. This is D2sp3 hybridization. It is low spin complex. Low spin or inner orbital complex, you can say. Inner orbital complex. Now here you see, let me write quickly. Mn plus 2, what is the electronic configuration? Argon 3d5 4s0. As cyanide is strong field ligand, it will influence the pairing. So here 5 unpaired electrons it will have. Now in the presence of strong field ligand, what happens is, this is 4s0, 4p0. In the presence of ligand, pairing takes place. These two electrons, this electron will come into this electron will come into this, one unpaired electron will be there here. So one d orbital, one s orbital, two p orbitals 3 p orbitals will be used, and it is d2sp3 hybridization. So first two options are not correct. First three options are not correct because we know that. So obviously D option, because these three are d2sp3 hybridization. Even whenever strong field ligand is there, it will form inner orbital complex. So this is also d2sp3 hybridization. If you want, you can try that one. So all these are inner orbital complex. Hexaamine nickel plus 2 complexes are octahedral complexes, that is high spin complexes. In other words, I will give one simple logic. All nickel plus 2 octa coordinated complexes are high spin, because we can't make 2 d orbitals vacant in the nickel plus 2, because already it will have d8 configuration. Even if we pair the electron only one d orbital, we can vacate. So 2 d orbitals we can't vacate. That's why you can remember like this: nickel plus 2 hexa coordinated complex, whatever ligand you take, it is high spin complex, even strong or weak, and it is paramagnetic. You can make a note of that one. Next, which one of the following cyano complexes would exhibit lowest value of magnetic moment? Now you see here, hexacyanomanganate ion, just now we have seen hexacyanomanganate, now it is -3. Hexacyanomanganate, what is the magnetic moment here means? Mn plus 3 means 3d4. So 3d4 means here magnetic moment will be 0. Magnetic moment will be 0 for that hexacyanomanganate ion. Similarly, hexacyanoferrate ion, if you see here, Fe hexacyanoferrate ion, this is also they have given plus 3, Fe plus 3. Fe plus 3 means argon 3d5 configuration. So it will have 4s0. This is strong field ligand. After pairing I am writing. So this is 2 unpaired electrons, that is 3d5 configuration. So it will have 1 unpaired electron, hexacyanoferrate. Similarly, chromium, if you are taking hexacyanochromate ion, if you take, okay, last question. So chromium plus 3 configuration, if we see argon, this is 3d3 configuration. This is actually our chromium 0 will be 3d5 4s1. So with 3 electrons if you are removing, so this is 3d3. So here 3d3 in the presence of strong field ligand, already 2 d orbitals are vacant, so no need to pair up the electrons. So here 3 unpaired electrons are there. So answer will be, this is chromium will have 3 unpaired electrons. Similarly, you try that one hexacyanocobaltate, here 3d6 it will come, 3d6. So which will have lowest value of paramagnetic behavior means B option, because it will have 0 magnetic moment. So answer is B here. Okay, like this you practice some more questions so that you will get perfection in this topic. Thank you.